Welcome back to another episode of Just Like Us. I'm your host, Justin Bird, and this is my lovely lady and co-host, Leti Zia.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome in, you guys. So today we're going to be talking about building confidence after setbacks. And I think this is going to be a very powerful episode.
Very powerful.
Because there's so much to say about getting up after you fall to make it count. Let's not make it all for nothing. Reclaiming our self-worth.
Yes.
Right. So it was last weekend. Leti, Justin, and I, Justin Jr. and I were out. We went skating for the first time in like a year, roller skating.
Yeah.
And something that happened was it was funny. It was a lesson learned for myself. I'm 42. I've been skating since I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, and I'm really good at it. I'm really good. I can break dance. I'm extremely good at it. And we were out skating, and Justin was actually out there for the first time without the little training thing, and so he's out there getting down. You know, he was I was so proud. And I get out there. I didn't stretch, didn't practice really much, and I get out in the middle. I'm wearing all white, and I'm in the middle, and out of nowhere, my both skates flew up, and they were in the air, and I landed flat on my back, hard. Bow! You can hear it. You know, I felt it for sure.
I missed it.
Yeah, but it was funny. I'm sure I would have laughed if I'd have seen it. But so legs went up in the air, flat on my back, and it's something that I'm not used to because I'm really good at skating. You know, and I've gotten really good at not falling. But so what happened was initially I was really embarrassed at first. I was like, oh my God, I'm not used to that. So I'm like, I wanted to kind of like go hide in the corner, but I embraced it. You know, Justin's out there and he's learning, and I'm training and teaching him that falling is not only okay, it's encouraged. You know, I mean, you're gonna fall, so you might as well make the best of it. Learn what not to do, and then fall like make it look good. You know, so I'm showing him that falling is more than okay. You know, but it's how you get back up that counts. That's what matters. As long as you get back up and continue skating or continue pushing forward or with whatever it is, like no matter what, if you're giving up, like that's the worst thing you can do, just say, you know what, just keep on going. I tell Justin, you know, no matter what happens, just get back up, try it again. Practice.
Yes.
You know, then you know what not to do. Learn on what you don't want, what you don't, you know, get the right equipment on and things to keep yourself safe and make sure that you're falling, but you're falling good and falling correctly. Get back up. That's the key to this. So we're building confidence after our setbacks. And so some of the major setbacks for myself recently have been, you know, getting involved with substance. And again, I know I kind of refer to this, but this was a huge part of my life. Not saying it was bad or good. It was just a part of my life that, you know, that was, it took a chunk out of what I would have called like progress. You know, it set me back in so many ways. And I'm not going to attribute that to like, you know, to losses, or I'm just going to say that it didn't allow me, or I didn't allow me to further myself sooner. You know, I could have been where I'm at a whole lot sooner, which is happier, healthier, you know, more abundant with everything and anything. You know, I would have been here where I'm at now a lot sooner had I not let something get in my way or allow myself to be stopped from, you know, getting up and making progress. But I'll tell you what, you know, the old saying, you know, we go through what we go through to get where we're at. You know, I wouldn't be where I'm at had I not gone through. But I also kind of feel like I would have probably been a lot further. So, you know, but these setbacks, you know, they weren't too, you know, tragic to where I couldn't get up. Nothing is, you know, there's people with no legs, no arms that are still able to play basketball somehow. You see people that like they're like the Special Olympics that are like making, you know, getting gold medals for like unbelievable stuff. So just when you think it's you have it bad or it couldn't be worse, like believe it can always be worse.
Yeah.
So
the human spirit is so resilient.
Absolutely.
You know, it knows exactly what we need when we need it, and we resist. You know, we resist that change, and change is needed. I feel to build our confidence. Right. We have to be willing to change, be willing to adapt in the circumstance, right, to help build our confidence. I know for me, you know, I'm not a great skater, but I skated here and there, but I did teach myself how to skate backwards a couple of years ago, at 50. And I would do it here in the house, in the kitchen. I would go
So like
to
in
the
the house.
school in
That's
the house.
awesome. Yes, you did.
In the house,
That's
around
right.
the
Yeah.
kitchen table,
That's
where I
right.
could
remember
hold
that.
on to things,
That's right.
you
I
know.
remember. Yeah.
And I watched YouTube videos on how to skate backwards. We would go to the skating rink and I'd be like, I don't know. Different people would try to help me. Like there would be an older gentleman. I was like, oh my gosh, he's too aggressive. I can't. He's scaring me. I'm a beginner at backwards skating.
Right, yeah.
And then there were some kids there, right? We all have things that we can teach each other, right? It's community.
Right.
And before I would have been afraid to like let somebody younger than me show me how something's done, right? But the children are our future. Whitney Houston, rest in peace, said it best. And these little kids were teaching me how to skate backwards. They were giving me that, what do you call it? The skating trainer.
Right, yeah.
And they were like, do you need this? And I'm like, I think I might. Yes.
Right. Nothing wrong with it.
And, they took the time to kind of give me techniques, and I finally got it, but it took me a lot of falling down many, many times.
Yeah.
Right. And so I am proof that you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Boom.
So thanks, YouTube.
Right.
Thanks to the support of my community and even a little bit of friendly competition with my partner, because I was like, he's really good at skating and I want to be able to skate backwards. I mean, I hold my own. And like I said, I fell many, many times. And, I was embarrassed too, but I was like, is it going to kill me? No, and I think other people seeing us fall and not react to having fell, but getting back up was okay when they did, right? Nobody was like, oh my God. And even if they were, I always tell myself, like, that's none of my business, right? I'm there to have a good time and enjoy the atmosphere and skate, and sometimes you fall down when you're doing things that you've been good at for years, or you're, starting out for the first time or the first few times. And it's just that getting back up, what you said. Amen. It feels good when you start getting back up, right? And I think that momentum of getting back up every time you fall, it doesn't just encourage you, it encourages others. You never know who's watching you for what reason, right? And I don't do things because I know people are watching me. I do them because they're good for me, right?
Yeah.
And my self-confidence and my self-worth are at, an all-time high, because I was at an all-time low with both of those things.
Right.
And wow. Recognizing your value beyond your mistakes.
I like that.
It was hard for me.
Yeah.
It was hard for me because I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes as a daughter, as a friend, as an employee, as a wife and mother.
What's one of the biggest falls that you've had that you think that you've been able to pick yourself back up from?
The biggest falls?
Yeah. What is one of the key falls? What's something that you can, attribute to your a huge fall, a major fall that you've been able to pick yourself back up?
I would have to, say substance use.
It's a pretty big fall.
It was 21 months ago, longer than that. You go back a little bit further. I was the type of person who was a professional, and I dressed nice and I always looked nice. I looked really good on the outside, right? And I could exude a certain kind of confidence, but I did not have any self-worth. I looked to everybody and everything to tell me that I was worth something, because I didn't. I just gave my power away on a daily basis to anybody and everything that would take it. And when I started to lose who I was, and I knew I was even the whole time that I was, using substance, from the time I was 13 until I was 50. I it was it's not easy to talk about.
Right. Oh.
But I lost my identity, right? I forgot who I was, and I lost all confidence. I lost all trust in God, in myself, and in others. And I fell hard. I tried so hard to keep my life from falling apart, when I realize now that's what needed to happen so that it could be put back together, in a different way, where my self-confidence and my self-worth would be intact. It was like building a brand new house and starting with a really solid foundation. Before, it was very shaky because it was dependent on things outside of myself, right? Things that looked nice, like make the outside shiny, but the inside is, black, dead. I was like a zombie. I just was going through the motions of life, doing what I thought people expected of me, and doing the things that society said would make me happy and successful. And I didn't feel anything like what they said I would. And so when I turned to substances and lost my identity, I fell really hard. I almost lost, more than just my identity. That was enough. But I almost lost my job. And I didn't think I was going to come back from that. My mind was gone. I should be in an institution, and I'm not. I'm here with you today.
That's right. Yes. Amen to that. That's right. Love you. Powerful.
Because of the goodness and grace and love of God, like I've said before, right? He came and sat with me when I didn't even want to sit with myself. He came and sat with me and loved on me and talked with me. And he started to heal parts of myself I didn't think could ever be healed, with things that I went through, with things that other people did to me. I had to understand that hurting people, they hurt other people. But the other side of that coin is that healing people heal people. And I wanted to be a healing person. I was, even in my addiction, I wasn't this ruthless, low down, dirty, rotten, good for nothing person. I still showed up. It might not have been my best self, but that's what I knew how to do, was show up for others. But what God wanted to teach me through all the things that were happening for me was that he wanted to be the hero in my story. He wanted to show up for me in ways that nobody else could or would.
Right.
I wasn't even showing up for myself that way. And he wanted to show me, he wanted to build that confidence and show me that I was worthy of his love and worthy of his time and worthy of his commitment. And he did just that, brick by brick, and we'll get into that in later episodes. But that is where my confidence comes from, is what, God has done in my heart. I started to remember who I was as a little girl, how he created me. And I started to live that way. I started to find people that had what I wanted, whether it was podcast or, at work, and would just observe. And then I would come back and I would ask God, how do I get that? How do I do that? I know I have it in me and I want it, God, but I have so much pain and so much hurt. How do I do that?
Right.
And he started to show me. He started to lead me to people and to podcasts, to strangers, to people at work, I just slowly started to open myself up, and my confidence grew and my self-worth has grown. And, I know that I'm worthy of a beautiful life. And that's exactly what I'm going to have.
That's right.
So, with that being said, I'm going to turn
That
it
was
back
powerful,
over to
like
you.
super, super powerful. And we have these conversations kind of often to where, Letty's such a deep person and she's got so much emotion, and it's really, it's refreshing, because I swear it feels like it's like a lost art nowadays. Like, it feels like there's not enough of, the potent, empathy that I feel like, we need to be having these deep conversations. That was really good though. Thank you for sharing that very vulnerable moment. One of the things that we're doing here just on this podcast is we're building our confidence with like daily routines. When you first start doing, lives and things like this, it could be a bit nerving, it could be a bit, you want to make sure, but really it's comforting knowing that we're getting better and better and better and better with each and every episode, with each and every time we get in front of these cameras, or with anything we're doing. We're building like a muscle memory, so to speak.
Right.
We know we're good at things. Why not keep striving to do those things? And so, daily habits, I feel these are helping us to boost our confidence and being resilient. There's a lot of things that I thought I was really, really good at, but I can do better. I can be better. And when I'm better, I can better those around me, because I am a giver. And I feel like with, me being strong, I enable others to be confident as well. I feel like I'm a ladder and like a bridge, so to speak, enable to people, because I'm a leader, but I feel like I'm a good leader. I love people. I'm passionate. There's a lot of things about me that I think that I have a whole lot of worth to give people, and you guys should feel the same way. Not necessarily how I feel about me, but you should feel positive about yourself. Like,
find out how you feel about yourself.
Right.
Spend some time with yourself. Ask God to show you your worth, and then go out and find out how you can get it for yourself. We don't need to be negative towards each other or feel like I need to have what you have, right? But for myself, right? So,
and for me, I was actually thinking about it today. I was out in the world, and I was walking around, and I was thinking how confident I am, and I have two phones, and I have a phone that I had it on the back of one of these an electric cart, and I was driving around, and I was like, I didn't realize until after I looked at the video how many people I waved at. I was like, I say hi to everybody, and so by me practicing that, I do it. Letty can tell you, like, everybody I come around within the vicinity to me, I say hello, like, just in a very kind, endearing kind of way. I say hello, I acknowledge them. That's just what I do. I acknowledge anyone and everyone. I don't care your age, I don't care your race, I don't care your sex, I don't care who or what. I will say hello and tell you I love you. Like, legitly, everyone I come in contact with, for real. And that doesn't make me extremely anything. It doesn't make me not anything. That's what I've been doing. And what it does for me is it builds more and more confidence that I feel like I'm making an impact, but if not, they're definitely making an impact on me, allowing myself to be put out there to do that. I feel it's a really good thing. I love that I do that. I don't know anybody else. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the world that do it, but I mean, I feel like it's so abundant that there's not a single person I won't say hi. I won't engage with, and I love that. I feel like it's something that's me. That's who I am, and I love it because it builds so much confidence in me. Like, and again, there's many things I could work on, but talking to people, I feel like I've really got that pretty down, and that's not a bad or a good thing, but in my opinion, I feel it helps me on a daily basis because I am someone who I get energy from someone else. So, I'm an extrovert by nature, and I get like somewhat of like a dopamine high. I feel like it's, some people will give me, sometimes I feel like, like a little bit sad sometimes, like when people like, and that's my own thing. If people, the other day we were somewhere and I went to go give someone the nuts, and I got like totally like, she didn't give it to me, and I was like, you know what? And I felt certain kind of way, but I also had to check myself and say, you know what? It's not for everybody. It's not for, a lot of people. But you know, I kind of push that on people, and I have my own boundaries I need to set too. But I'll tell you what, I am very confident in the fact that I'm not just going to go around just telling everybody without having some kind of knowledge that some people won't like it. So, I mean, I think I have a pretty good, you know, a feel or picture, but it's building confidence, that muscle memory, and having the daily habits. To me, that's a habit. I have the habit of saying hi to everybody and anybody, and I don't mind it. I think it's really cool. I think it feels really good to be able to have, you know, that kind of connection with people. And again, I don't just go out of my way and jump in front of people and scare them. Hey, you know, I know the tone.
Just me,
I know the tone. Yeah. I set the tone. I know, you know, like my boundaries, but it's really, really cool because my son Justin sees it, and I can see through his personality that he's not necessarily the same way. Like he's a whole different sign as far as like, you know, his astrology sign, and like his bank codes, and like there's certain things that we've you know, we can
personality.
he's different personality, and so I acknowledge that, and I see him, and so you know, and I like to think that he takes up what I do, but it's not the case, and I'm so okay with this little kid being himself, because I enjoy seeing how he bounces back, how this kid comes back around, and he's really brave. And so to having my son 6 years old, you know, show me things of like courage and how to be brave, I love it, because it shows me that what we're doing is working. We're enabling him to be totally whatever it is that he feels he can be, you know, to a certain degree, you know. But I also I want him to know, like, hey, there's certain boundaries, and I tell him that, you know what I mean? You don't want to hurt people, hit people. Cussing is out off limits. You can do that enough when you're older, you know, but he's enabled, I enabled to be himself to the fullest. And a lot of that I've learned from you, important, you know. Let these kids be themselves, and to bounce back with confidence from when they fall. I think it's a huge milestone to be able to get back up and keep going, and have somebody encourage you, like, you're all right. You know, we went to this place the other day for kids, Kids Strong place, and you know, he's running around, he's fast, and he missed one of the steps, but I was like, you're good. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just get back up, keep going, no matter what happens. Never happens. Get back up, keep going. And something I was referring to earlier with Leti was like, when I freestyle rap, and it's improv. It's like so off the top of the head that I ask people to throw me words. If you hear me rapping or freestyling, throw me words, and I bet you I could put those in, make it make sense, and rhyme them. And he does. Yeah, and I do. And so, and one of the things I was saying to Leti earlier was like, what has helped me get better and better at it is, if I was freestyling around a bunch of people and somebody's throwing me words, or if I stumbled on one of my words, I refer to what I call the news reporter effect, where the news reporters, they just keep on going. If they're a good news reporter, you know, you don't even notice that they stumbled and fumbled on their words. They just pick it up, keep going. So I incorporated that with my freestyles, and I said, if I mess up in my mind, if I say something that's not really, doesn't rhyme, or if I stumble against my words, I'm just going to keep on going, because usually the next word or the next rhyme that I say is literally going to make them forget what it was that I even messed up on, in my opinion. Right. And they just keep on moving. Yeah. So, you know, getting back up, you know, making it count. Yes, I fail, but that's okay, because I know what not to do right now. That's right. And I fell for many years doing substance. I was down for, again, more than half my life. I fell, but I got back up. And can you imagine, like, just imagine what it would be like if you didn't get back up to make. Just imagine if Bell didn't continue to, you know, just imagine if a lot of people, Robert Downey Jr., and there's so many people that we can attribute to success, if after they fell down and got back up. There's many people that we can look up to and say, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. And so again, this is all about building our confidence after setbacks. Make sure you don't stay down, you get back up. In fact, you get back up and run even harder. Yes. You know, work it out, figure it out in your mind, figure it out in your body. You can do this, whatever it is. You have the power, the ability to turn left right now and you go the other way if there's something that doesn't, you know, align with your core values, or if there's things that aren't what you feel, or like you know, the kind of things that you would typically do, that's honesty or whatever it is. Go left. Start doing something else. Today's the day to start doing something different. I mean, we're always opposite
of what you would do. Like you know, that's how I kind of built my self-confidence and my self-esteem. And was I scared? Yes, because that meant like singing out in public or dancing out in public, things that I enjoyed doing in private, right? Or going up and introducing myself to people or saying hi to, I was friendly before, but I'm talking about like going all out, right? Because I was like, what's the worst? They're going to say no. Then that just means they're not ready to meet me in that place. And that's okay. This is what I had to tell myself. I'm doing this for me, right? And I have seen that in doing that, people are so kind and so generous and so loving. I like to drive around the city, and I saw a girl today, and I just looked at her, gave her the heart sign, gave her the heart sign, and told her I loved her, and told her God loves her too. Right. And she just looked at me like, wow, like, thank you. Because that might be the only, I love you or hi that someone sees. And that was something that I did often, even at work, talking to different people down the hall, smiling, even when I was in pain, because I know what it's like.
Right.
We all need love. We all want love and kindness. And if you can do it, why not?
Right.
Because it feels good, right? And we're not always on point. I'm not always in a great mood, but I don't beat myself up about those times either, like I used to. And I don't let other people do that to me either.
Right.
And so, confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Resilience.
Right.
Recognizing your value.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're gonna fall, but you can get back
and you
up.
should get back up no matter what. And
That's right.
Turning your fear into fuel for personal growth. And let's face it, on the other side of fear is success. You guys, being scared of something up until the point where you actually need to do it. What's the point of continuously being scared or stressed out about something until you actually even get there? And when you get there and you actually do it, it's probably not as hard or bad as you thought it would be anyways.
Right.
Let's take skydiving, for instance.
It's like I was scared of that.
All day, you're scared. You're like, me and my daughter Bray were going to go skydiving. And I thought about this little boy, and I'm like, I don't know if I should do it. But you know what? We were driving by an indoor skydiving the other day, and I'm like, there's a start. I want to start. I want to start going in and going indoor skydiving would be the start. I'm not afraid of skydiving. I'm afraid of the parachute not opening. But that's not what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of not making it, and I don't want to be afraid of it. I'm going to go skydiving. Yes, and I'm going to make it happen. So on the other side of fear is success. Let's make it happen. Let's not be fearful. Let's be mindful. Let's be mindful of what can happen. What most likely will happen is you'll get over that fear and you'll be just fine. In fact, you'll be more than just fine. You'll be fantastic. It's going to be something that's going to be like, why was I ever fearful in the first place? What was I afraid to skydive for in the first place? Because you're worried about it all the way until you get to the plane, and then you jump. And it's probably one of the most blissful things in the entire universe. Probably one of the best feelings in the world. And I plan on doing it. I plan on experiencing this. I don't want to fear it. I want to embrace it. I want to hit it head on. So one of my goals this year is to go skydiving. Nice. Yes. So let's make that happen. You know what I mean? Let's face fear head on. Let's not be fearful of anything, because fear is not of God. God does not.
Didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind.
Absolutely. Yes. So let's turn our fear into fuel for our personal growth. It's not anything. Let anything hold us back. Continue trucking. Continue moving forward.
Not even us.
It's like a locomotive train. Once it gets in motion, nothing's gonna stop it. Nothing. Not a house. Nothing. Not even another train. Like just this thing's gonna keep on going. But if you set a little log, a little tiny stick in front of that train before it even gets momentum, it's gonna stop that. So the whole key is to get momentum. Have some courage. Build your confidence.
Those little things.
Right. And don't let anything set you back. And if it does, you get up and you make sure that you build confidence by getting up and going forward. Strong.
Do it again. Dust yourself off.
Yes.
Try again.
So on that note, we want to thank you guys for joining us with another episode. And we love you guys so much. And let's continue building this together, you guys. Again, thank you for joining us. And until next time.
Love you.
See you then. Peace.